First of all, thank you, sir, for giving your valuable time to the
No,
Statesman.
no, thank you.
Since the announcement of the Lok Sabha elections, the Congress has been reiterating that it is to save the democracy and the constitution by ousting the ruling BJP. Sir, what would you like to tell on that?
See, today, country is really divided based on idea of India. It is not a question of who is right and who is wrong, but it's a question of what you believe in. So the positions are very hard on both sides. One side believes that we need Hindu nation. That side, to me, is represented by a group of people who killed Mahatma Gandhi. Right or wrong, we can go into debate. And they have a position based on their leader called Savarkar. The idea was that India belongs to Hindu and there is very little space for others, especially Muslims. And in the process, there is stress in the society. There are 200 million Muslims, you can't ignore them. If there is stress in the society, there'll be violence, lack of peace. And this will ultimately affect our economy, employment, future, safety, security. So that's one view. And that view centers around Ram temple, God, history, heritage, Bhagwan, Hanuman, Bajrang Dal and all kinds of issues. Fine. I respect their view. There is another group which says, look, our founding fathers fought from British Raj, not for Hindu Rashtra, but for a secular nation. Pakistan decided to create a nation based on religion and see what happened to them. We are a shining example of democracy in the world. We have survived 70 years, 75 years in a very happy environment where people could live together, leaving aside few fights here and there. We could hold country together as diverse as India, where people on East look like Chinese, people on West look like Arab, people on North look like, maybe white, and people in South look like Africa. Doesn't matter. We are all brothers and sisters. We all respect different language. We all respect different religion, different look, different custom, different food. And as a Gujarati, I love dosa. I love Italy. That's my food. That's no longer South Indian food. Okay, that's the India I believe in, where everybody has a place. Everybody compromises a little bit. If I go to Tamil Nadu and can't speak local language, that's okay. I'm still at home. Okay, people love me. I can go to any shop and buy anything and stay in any hotel because that's my India. Okay, so that idea of India, which is rooted in democracy, freedom, liberty, fraternity, is being challenged by Ram temple and Ram Navami and Prime Minister going to temple all the time and, talking, not as a national leader, but talking as a leader of the BJP. Prime Minister is a Prime Minister of a nation. He's not a Prime Minister of BJP only. Okay. So the fight is that of ideas. That if we want India where everybody can live in peace, prosperous, treated equally, with respect and dignity, that's India we want. We want our constitution to be guarded. Okay. We want our women to be respected. We want to create jobs for our young people. And jobs cannot be created if we get hung up on temples. When I said once that temples are not going to create jobs, people reacted violently. But I believe that to create jobs, we need to focus on technology, future, production, local talent, local capabilities, solving local problems. And to me, religion is a personal issue. Yeah. Before you and I started our conversation, I don't want to know your religion. And if I know, I respect it. I have no disagreement with you. That's a personal thing. Okay. But everything converted to religion is not good for future of India. And that's the fight about. But what has happened in the election is because of hype, because of control of media, because of control of institutions, because of undermining civil society, there's a lot of noise created. And in this noise, signal doesn't get heard properly. Signal is for young people that if you want your jobs of the tomorrow, work together with everybody. BJP promised you job, 2 million jobs a year, didn't create any because they're busy with different agenda. And how do you tell this to people in this noise? Immediately they go into Rahul and speech and PM is a great hero and international recognition. All that stuff is bogus. Okay.
So my second question is that, sir.
Yes.
Sir, recently BJP has released its manifesto and they have made slew of promises and they are confident of retaining the power for the third time. And you see slogans echoing in their every rallies that of 400 par. Sir, what would you like to tell on that, sir?
You see, they have access to media, so they can say 400 par, they can say 500 par. Why stop at 400, bhai? Might as well go to 500. Okay. Their manifesto promises things. Just look at the promises they made last time. They were in power for 10 years. Don't worry about promises being made today. First check promises made in the past. Simple jobs. Did you create jobs? No. Did you bring black money? Promised? No. Did you mess up with demonetization? Yes. Did you mess up with GST? Yes. Did you spend too much time in tooting your horn on religion? According to me, yes. Okay. So you can look at different ways. Everybody has their own way of looking at it. Okay. You got to make that judgment. It is your vote. If you feel that they will deliver on the promise, more power to you. It is your vote. You have to decide. Okay, who am I to tell you? So I don't think you can underestimate the intelligence of the Indian voters. Indian voters are smart. At the end of the day, they will ask the right questions, saying, did I get my job? Is the economy in good shape? Is there enough safety and security? Is it good for me to recognize my neighbor who is not following the same religion? Am I happy with him? Do I want peace with him? Okay, or I want fight with him? So Indian voter will decide. They're saying 400 seats is not going to deliver 400 seats. Anybody can say anything. Okay.
So how much seats, sir, you have?
I have no idea, bhai. I do not have crystal ball. I know I don't have the intelligence. Okay. So I would just leave it to the intelligent voters of India.
Sir, how do you see the works of the current dispensation as compared to the previous Congress-led UPA government, sir?
Look, I worked for the UPA government under Dr. Manmohan Singh. I worked with him for 10 years. I was very impressed with his way of doing things. Very humble, very simple, not authoritarian, listen to everybody, low-key, wasn't tooting his horn. Okay? That's the kind of leader I would prefer. I would not prefer a leader who takes credit for everything and says it is only because of me everything is happening. That's not a good leader. Okay, that's insecure leader to me. You can disagree. I want a leader who gives credit to people and not take it away from people. I want a leader that carries everybody with him and not a small group of people. Yeah. So I think UPA government did very well in last 8 of the 10 years. Last 2 years were difficult, and they were not good at tooting their horn. You see, even when I worked, people said, "Oh, you did so many things. Why don't you talk about it?" I said, "Look, my job is not to talk about what I do. My job is to do what I do. Okay? I'm not here for publicity, bhai. You didn't make me in charge of something for publicity. Okay? You want me to do it. When I worked with Rajiv Gandhi, telecom, look at where we are in telecom today. Okay? We don't get credit, but we did all the work. We know it. Okay? It doesn't matter what anybody else says. Ignorant person may say something completely different. It's okay. Then we had 2 million telephones. Today, India has 1.4 billion phones. It didn't happen in the last 10 years. These things take decades to do it. We had to plant right seeds. And those who plant seeds may not be there to eat the fruits. That's okay. Because we don't do it for ourselves. We do it for the next generation after that. There are people who do right things. And there are people who are sitting there to take credit for somebody else's success. So it's a different. And I think UPA government did pretty good, right to information. 8% growth. Narega, okay, are a few examples, and there are a lot of good examples, okay. Just in the area I worked on, report of the National Knowledge Commission, Innovation Council, and there were lots of things like this, e-governance, okay, Aadhaar, that Nandan did. They were all good things to do, okay.
Sir, Rahul Gandhi carried out Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra after successful completion of Bharat Jodo Yatra, sir. Do you think that this yatra will have an impact in this Lok Sabha elections?
Absolutely. 100%. Because we must first recognize that nobody in the history of India, in the long history of India, has ever walked the way he walked from south to north and part bus yatra from east to west. Along with him, millions of people walked. He listened to them. He mingled with them. He could feel and touch their aspirations, their problems, their challenges. And I think this has transformed him. And it has also transformed people. People saw for the first time love and affection from a leader like that. People realized that he's not what media has been projecting. He's a decent human being. He is a leader. And he deserves a lot more. So I think it has transformed him, and it has also transformed his image, not only in India, but all over. So I think it will have impact.
So often the BJP, whenever Mr. Gandhi is in abroad, like always the BJP accuses him of maligning the country's image, sir. What would you like to
I
tell?
am always with him when he goes abroad to these trips. So first thing is, nobody can hurt the image of India. India is too big. But you can talk about government. Governments come and go. So you can criticize government. As an opposition leader, it's your job to criticize government. And if you criticize government, don't take this as a criticizing India. Okay? Who told you that government of India is India? Okay? Don't expect you to be that high. You are just a government. They come and go. And it is the job of the opposition leader to point that out, not that he goes there to criticize. But it comes up in a conversation. In a broad conversation on democracy, global affairs, economy, if something comes up and you say a few words about the government, it's okay. Why are you so insecure? I don't understand. Why do you panic? Do you have a guilt feeling? Why can't you take it? as a fair criticism, saying it's okay, you can criticize me. It's okay for you to criticize me. Okay? Because I may have a bad idea today, but I may have a good idea tomorrow. So when you criticize my idea, you're not criticizing me. You're criticizing that idea. Okay? And I think people get confused.
So the India bloc is yet to announce the prime ministerial candidate. Do you think Rahul Gandhi would be a perfect pick?
No, first of all, we are going into a parliamentary election. We are not a presidential system. We don't have to and we should not announce Modi versus who. That's what they want. Okay? It is not a presidential election. We are not voting for Modi. We are voting for local member of parliament. And if those member of parliament wants to appoint Modi, that's their privilege. They may not want to appoint Modi. That's their privilege also. So let's not confuse the fact that we are a parliamentary system. We are electing members of parliament. And when India Alliance, if they have majority, they will come together and they will collectively decide who should be the leader. It's their privilege.
What do you think, sir, the roadmap of the India Alliance should be to oust the ruling BJP, sir?
Well, they are all working on the election. They have unified candidate. You've seen the manifesto of the Congress party, which very clearly outlines the fact that if we come back to power, we'll put democracy back on track. We will make sure that our institutions are independent, autonomous, free and fair, including election commission, judiciary, and all that. We will not misuse ED and income tax and others. It says we will encourage voluntary sector, civil society. We'll make sure that the media is free and fair and independent. And we'll focus on employment. We'll focus on improving lives of the farmers, provide security, safety, and support to women. It says all the things that they will do and they will deliver. And these are all within reach. Okay.
How many seats, sir, do you expect that India Alliance would get in these elections?
I have no idea.
Sir, recently Sonia Gandhi, she has been elected to Rajya Sabha. So there are too much news these days regarding who will be contesting from Amethi and Raebareli, sir. So, sir, what do you think who do you think the party should field in both?
Well, let party decide. And once party decide, then the individual will have to also decide. Party may ask somebody in the family to contest, and the family members might say, look, I don't want to do that. I'm not comfortable right now. That's also okay. So it's a decision between party and the individual. Okay.
Sir, I would like to add something on that. Robert Vadra, he has already expressed his willingness to contest from one of the seats, sir.
But that's up to party. If party asks him to contest, you know that he is ready. But then it's up to the party. Party does that. That party's privilege. I don't know how they will decide. Let's wait and watch. It's happen in next few days, hopefully.
The BJP and other parties which are part of the NDA alliance, they always accuse Congress of doing appeasement politics, sir. How do you see that, sir?
Just look at the track record for 70 years. Don't listen to lies. You can accuse anybody of anything. You can accuse me of something. So what? That doesn't make it right. Okay, just because you have access to media, you can't go on accusing everybody. Look at the track record. Who created IITs? Who created IIM? Space program, agricultural research, white revolution, green revolution, telecom revolution, IT revolution. Okay, is that appeasement policy? I got my master's in physics for less than $10 60 years ago in India. And I come from a OBC class. Okay? That's what Congress Party did for me. You call that appeasement politics? No. So it depends. You can say, you see, these people say anything. They'll say anything to anybody. And they can get away with it. I mean, Prime Minister of a nation in public meetings accusing people left and right is not decent. It's not decency. But they do it. And then national media will repeat and repeat and repeat that. That's also not decency. Okay. But you accept that as a way of life today. Okay. That's the character of the people. What do? You love them.
So the idea of democracy, sir, in the run-up to the elections, so your book, The Idea of Democracy, sir, would you like to mention some of the important points that you have highlighted in your book?
Thank you. See, this year there'll be elections in 64 different countries, which is unique. India with 900 million voters go to election now. US will go to election in November. South Africa, Mexico will go in May, June, July. So most of these countries are having difficulty in democracy. Most of these countries have authoritarian leadership, mindset. Most of these countries have ended up in polarized politics. Partly because people are not happy with the governments, partly because social media has amplified lies, misinformation, manipulation, and also made everybody a reporter. So everybody thinks he has an opinion and he's going to promote and he's going to have the idea. So the earlier respected journalists who would do his research and would be more balanced has been captured by people from the street who are highly opinionated. And they create echo chambers. And people listen to them. Okay. So world over, there is a crisis of democracy. And I thought it would be a good time to write a book on the idea of democracy. So the book is divided in two parts. Part one is about a little bit of history of democracy. Where did it come from? What does it mean to be a democratic nation? Because a lot of young people don't realize that they are where they are because they live in democracy. Their parents could rise from poverty and have enough to send you to schools and colleges and give you better life because it was democracy. Okay. So first chapter is more about democracy. Second chapter is how democracy works. Democracy is not about elections, voting, and electing a leader. Democracy is about institutions, autonomy, independence, courts, election commission, income tax office, police, armed force, universities, and then the role of civil society, role of institutions, executive branch, judiciary, IAS and administration, all of this, how does it work? Third chapter is about democracy world over. What is happening to democracy in Japan, France, Germany, UK, Mexico, US, India, everywhere. Middle East, Africa, China. And then there is a chapter on democracy in US because I lived here for 60 years and I have my own opinion on what's going on. Not that I have all the answers. Then there is a chapter on democracy in India. I made separate chapters on each of these, areas or two countries, because India is the largest democracy in the world and US is the oldest democracy in the world. Then part 2, I talk about capitalism and democracy, the relationship. Then I talk about democracy and values. Democracy is also about values: truth, trust, inclusion, diversity, liberty, justice. Okay, these are all important values in life. If you are a liar, you have no place in democracy. But today, liars are running the democracies. Okay, cheats have taken control. So to me, values are very important in democracy. Very few people today mean what they say and say what they mean, globally. Then there is a chapter on technology and democracy. There is a chapter on leadership in democracy. What does the leadership mean in a democracy? Is it about promoting your party, or it is about promoting what is good for the people? How do you promote inclusion, sustainability as a leader? The quality of leader dictate the quality of democracy. If leader is crook, democracy will suffer. So I give example of Mahatma Gandhi, Mandela, Martin Luther King, John Kennedy, Abraham Lincoln, saying these were the people with character, values, commitment, and they could inspire many, many. Then finally, I talk about redesigning democracy. Because of technology, hyperconnectivity, we need to really relook at democracy to empower everybody. And what does it mean to redesign democracy? So that's the basic book about.
Sir, one question related to the Lok Sabha elections is that, sir, what is Indian Overseas Congress doing abroad to all the voters?
Well, we have a limited role to play. So we try our best. One is to educate people about democracy, about values, about franchising their vote. We have organizations in 32 countries. We have, for example, in US, presence in 12 different cities. And we have people who are connected back home. They go during elections, some campaign for their friends, family, local candidates. They go back to their parents' village, constituency. Some use social media to promote the idea of democracy and values and try to influence their families, their friends to vote Congress. And they also spend time here in explaining to people what India is going through right now. Okay.
Sir, how confident you are of India bloc of coming to power in 2024, sir?
I do not have a crystal ball, okay, like I told you. But I think things have changed in the last few months. Hawa is changing very fast. 4 months ago, it was different. Today, it's going to be tough for BJP. Not going to be cakewalk. So more they talk about 400 and all that, more that it tells me that they are insecure. People of India are waking up. People of India are realizing that government has not delivered. People of India are realizing that Prime Minister is not telling the truth. People are realizing that jobs are not created. People are realizing that, inflation has increased. Okay. So, time will tell.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving your valuable time. Sir, it was very nice talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.